All right. Do you see that, Ben?
Let's go, Eric, baby. Let's go.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, welcome to the Services Summit podcast, where we connect with the voices of driving innovation and growth across the home services industry. From solar to HVAC, roofing, pest control, and beyond, we're driving in the stories that power the service economy. And today, super excited because I got my friend, an amazing mentor of mine, Mr. Ben Ward. Mr. Ben Ward is from Forward Leadership, and we're going to get into all that information. He's not only leading in their field, but also he's a part of this year's Services Summit happening November 4th and 5th in Austin, Texas. Yes, you can shake this gentleman's hand in Austin, Texas. Ben Ward, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. Pumped to be here.
Awesome, awesome. For anyone not familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about Forward Leadership, and what you do, how you work in the home services industry space.
Yeah. Um, Kind of where I connected in with Services Summit was back in 2005. I was JD De La Rosa's regional sales manager. His first year selling door to door, and
Okay.
I'll tell you what, that kid as a young man was just he was humble. There's three things I look for. I built and led sales teams for the last 20 years: humble, hungry, smart. And the smart with people, not necessarily book smarts, but street smart, smart with people. JD De La Rosa, like just right out of the gates, he's humble and he just put his head down and he went to work. And he emerged as the top first year sales rep. We had a company of over 2,000 salespeople. And anyway, so from there, I got my start doing door to door sales. And JD and I met back then. And from there, the next year, he was one of my top managers in my region. And then I started a company called Elevate. JD came and he emerged as one of our top regional managers at Elevate. And we scaled that company to 2,000 salespeople, and we took the company public in 2010. So JD was a part of that. And so my background is building and leading sales teams that scale. And so recruiting, retaining, and scaling high-performing teams. And that's ultimately fast forward 20 years. Now I've JD is somebody I love, I respect. And when he says he's doing an event and he's partnered with you, Eric, and a few other, Joe Moose and a few others, I just jumped on to help support and lift and serve in any way I can.
Absolutely, man. And it's been 100 miles an hour ever since, man. I am
That's
so
right.
glad we met. I'm so glad we met. We have so much more to give. We have so many people to serve. Now you've been in the industry for a while now. Tell us what's changed the most in how home service companies connect, scale, and grow, in your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, some of the fundamentals. If we go down to the roots of scaling, the easy part is learning the skills. How to sell, how to recruit, how to build teams, how to scale those teams, how to transition somebody from learning how to sell a product to then learning how to lead a team. And Eric, you and I know this. One of the biggest problems in the sales industry is that being good at sales and being good at leadership are two
Mhm.
totally different skill sets. And it's a problem because
Mhm.
it's top salespeople. They're ones that get promoted into leadership and then they
Yes.
struggle like crazy trying to lead a team.
Yes. Yes. I mean, there's a lot on a top performer's mind, and all it is closing deals. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really they're just built for closing deals, and leadership is a whole nother department where you must lead others, almost give yourself up for them. That's what leaders do, right? They help rise, they help other people rise. They give them that stick when they're in the when they're the that sand, quicksand. They give them that stick to pull them out, right? But a lot of grinders are definitely, just closers. So yeah, I'm glad you brought up that.
And so
Uh,
real fast, Eric, with that, if we're just
yeah,
riffing, so
yeah.
you asked a little bit about me, a little bit about my background. I kind of wove in JD and how we kind of met. The last 13 years after Elevate, so we scaled it and we had an incredible experience. And then within a few years, that business, I take full ownership. I drove that business into the ground. And that's a whole conversation of lessons learned on how to scale, and then also how a great company falls to the ground. And if I could just, if I could just give one principle, people ask me all the time, like,
Please.
what happened? And like, what's like the one thing? And let me tell you, Eric, and for those that are listening, I found the thing that you hear about, like the main thing is to keep the main thing. Like Stephen Covey talked about that a bunch, and a bunch of other gurus have talked about that, like staying focused. What I learned is that hubris ultimately drove me into the ground, because we had 10 years of incline from building teams, scaling them, having a successful region, starting a company, and things were just going north. And I really, honestly, it's sad to say, but I at that time, I believed that every decision that we were going to make was going to work. So we started getting off of our main core competencies, and we started diluting our operations with too many products that were unrelated. And we started putting funding towards projects that were way outside of our core competency. And so what I've learned from that, one thing that I've learned is that extreme focus in the key areas of your business and relentless clinging to that. Now you can grow and scale, but I recommend the 80-20, the Pareto principle for scaling. 80% of your focus and energy, once you have a foundation in the company, 80% cling to the core, and then 20% branch out, invest in new areas, and deploy new resources to test and try different products and services. And so that's, in a nutshell, the main thing. You got to keep the main thing. And I didn't. I lost sight of our main core company. Our core company was a bundle: phone, internet, TV, and security. And then we started adding GPS products. We started adding other software that was sort of related. And so from that, our company, we imploded. Our branches grew too big for our trunk, and we exploded. And JD was a part of that. And through that, we forged a friendship for life, because we've been through hell together. We've had massive success. I helped him earn his first $1 million. And then within a few years,
wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, Ben. That's incredible. I know you have a lot to offer. You have a lot to offer this event. Besides JD, besides your relationship with JD, what draws you to an event like Services Summit? Where do you think people can benefit with meeting you?
Well, what draws me to this event, besides JD, is I'm a cancer survivor. And so a focus where, it goes back to JD, where he's not a religious, or even he wouldn't call himself a spiritual person. But when his daughter Autumn was going through her brain cancer, the second year into it, I'm a good close friend of his, so I know this just firsthand. He's pleading with God. He's like, please help Autumn to survive. And what was happening is Autumn's friends that she was going through cancer with, that she had met through the cancer journey, were passing away. They were dying. And JD's sitting there like it was a year and a half into it. And he's like, I'm going to lose my daughter. And he's pleading with God. He's like, I will do anything I can. Please keep her alive and like help her. And he made a pledge. He's like, I'll dedicate myself to help so that families have resources to know how to serve, so that these children can have their cancer. And so through that, like, I mean, I'm a cancer survivor. I had melanoma stage cancer, and I had it twice. I had it, then we beat it, and then it came back way stronger, and it
Wow.
was all throughout my body.
Wow.
And miraculously, through a whole series of events, I survived. So I'm very passionate about the cause.
That's incredible. I'm blown away. That was a lot of information. And these are the kind of things that I think people don't realize what they can learn about other people and what obstacles they've had to come over in life, that like they've had to get over in life. So thank you for sharing that. You know, and that was my next question actually, to focus on what why is it important to you to get back to children's cancer research, and you said that wonderfully. I appreciate that. Let me ask you this about people attending this event. What kind of people should not miss this event?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the services industry, serving anything that's serving into the home, and I mean that also includes we have a sponsor and a good friend of mine who's a spine and ortho doctor, and like he loves the cause, so he's supported. Like he is directly supporting all of the people, right, that are serving into these homes, and because they're gonna have back problems, spine injuries, especially like these roofers falling off. I mean, it happens. Hopefully not a ton, but it happens right now. Somebody watching this is like, hey, they're in the roofing company. I have a friend named Jason Jarvis who's going to be there. He's in the roofing company. He has people that fall off the roofs. He's a giant company, and so like you need an ortho doctor. And so like I'm just giving an
Yeah,
example of
yeah.
anybody that's pouring into serving people that are there supporting to help the homes, the families of America become stronger. And
Mm.
anybody in that's serving, it's a lot of people. That's who should be there. And really, the sad thing, Eric, this year only 350 people are going to be able to come.
Yes, yes, that's exciting to me. That's what I love about our event. I know it's going to get bigger. It's going to be way bigger than we can even imagine. But the initial years where we're building this thing and the people that are involved with us while building Services Summit, I get tingles, right? I get goosebumps right now thinking about it because it's such a great cause. And, a lot of people have been affected by cancer. My mom, God rest her soul, pancreatic cancer. So we've all been through it, right? And so collaborating, giving each other ideas, and just kind of supporting one another for a bigger cause is great. And that's what Services Summit is really built on, helping service professionals grow their business, connect with others while giving back to a great cause. We've got world-class speakers like Bradley, Coach Michael Burt, and tell us a little bit about your affiliation with somebody named Brian Tracy. Have you ever heard that name before? I think you have.
Yeah, it's funny because my dad, when I was a kid, my dad would pick us up and he'd be listening to talks on tape. He listened to the Brian Tracy's when I was just a
Wow.
little guy. And I hear, Brian talk about, he talk about superior sales management. And like, I'm like, what is that? I don't know. And he talked about eating the frog. And like, I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. And, you know, he talked about millionaire success habits when I'm just this like punk teenage kid. And
Yeah.
Brian Tracy changed my life. I've devoured all of his stuff since I was just a little kid, and all the way until 17, 18 years ago, we hired Brian in my business to come out to speak with our top guys. JD was there at that event, and Brian and I connected.
Whoa.
I was able to go to dinner with him. We went to Ruth's Chris up in Salt Lake City, and from that
Wow.
day since, he turned from like my personal hero to my personal mentor. And I now talk to him at least monthly. He can't talk right now. Eric, I don't think you were able to make it on that call, but Joe Moose, JD,
No.
I connected all of them in with Brian Tracy to film a little special something for the Services Summit. But right now his jaw, he's 83 years old. He's had jaw surgery, so he can't even talk. And he's
Wow.
recovering right now, but that guy's a legend among legends.
And he still did the video. Wow, man. He's got a big heart. He's got a big
Dude,
heart.
he told me he's like, yeah, let's do the video. Because I reached out to ask him to film something, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. But he's like, we have to do it today because tomorrow I'm doing jaw surgery, and so it's actually been 3 weeks now since we did it, and he just got out of the hospital, but he can't talk.
Man.
He's like, we got lucky with blessed, to be able to have Brian Tracy, who's written 96 best-selling books and is one of the highest paid speakers in the world, to kick off the Services Summit.
That's GOAT status. If I ever heard of GOAT status, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Well, look, if you're listening and haven't locked in your spot yet, grab your tickets, servicessummit.com. Whether you're a business owner, team leader, service pro who just wants to level up, this is your chance to learn and be a part of something bigger. And if your company wants to get in front of thousands, not this time, hundreds, about 500 people we're expecting, check out our sponsorship opportunities on the site too. We have some great opportunities for you to get your business out there. Thank you again, Ben. Can you please tell us where people can find you? Maybe they can how can they get in touch with you before the event? Maybe they can, meet you before you get on stage, anything like any information you can give us.
Yeah, absolutely. So my website's benward.com. And from there, you can connect in with all my social. I'm most active on LinkedIn. That's kind of that's the platform that I mostly work at. But I have Instagram and Facebook. It's Ben Ward Leadership on those things. But just connect straight through benward.com, my site.
benward.com. You heard it here. And you can meet this awesome gentleman at Services Summit. Ben, thank you so much, man. You're the best.
Heck yeah, brother. Peace out.